The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Tiger Technician Hour with your host, Basil Chapman. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Now, Basil Chapman.
Hi everyone, Basil Chapman on this Friday, the 30th of September. We're wrapping up the month. Look, here's the candle for the Dow. What an ugly candle. In leg C to the downside in the monthly chart, leg E in the weekly chart, making that pattern they call the dreaded H. It's gone underneath the left side low. This is the second week. You have 2 weeks in which to, the 3 weeks, I usually give it an extra week to get back above 29,653, the low of June. We'll see what happens there. We're at trough E at 28,958 4 days ago, and we're testing the lows. We haven't yet taken out that low. It's really an important session for many reasons, so we'll get to that in a moment. Look, I actually will do it right now because it's Technical Friday. Within the context of the patterns that I look at, let me just grab this and drag it to the side. I look at three basic patterns. One is straight line up, straight line down. The other is a cup formation. That cup formation could be a V shape or a cup, whatever it is, it's going from one point down and then back again. How it deals with the left side high is important. You get the same thing on the downside. The arch formation, the H, we call it an H because when this arch takes out that left side low, you've got to be careful as to what happens. So pattern 1 is straight line. Pattern 2, or they could be reversed 2 and 3, doesn't matter. I'm just saying 2 is a cup, 3 is the arch, and then you mix them up. 1 and 2 is green, and if you take out the left side high, what happens? How do the technicals respond? Does it close above that? A whole bunch of things. And the downside, the dreaded H, this is the reverse Y. This is the dreaded H. How you take out that left side low. Now, the thing is, in the H pattern, normally it's only a peak A or a peak B. One or two peaks, and then it turns around and fails at that left side low. If it goes more than that, it means that you're using up a lot of upside energy, but you're also using downside momentum, so that when it does come back, it often holds that left side low. So let's just go back to what we're looking at here. Look at all these H's that failed in the daily chart of the Dow. H failed. It even had an inverted. This is the falling axe formation. I don't want to talk about it right now, but there's a Chapman wave inside track. Propellant zone becomes a resistance and repellent zone. So now what we're looking at is we made a little mini H. Look, a little tiny one. Peak A is a gray A. It's still an active A because we haven't taken out yet the 28,958 low. So that's very important. That's the daily chart. So let's go to the S&P. And the S&P at this particular moment is trading just up about 2 points. And within that context, what we're looking at is you have made low lows. So that was an A minus and a little dreaded H, a tiny little dreaded H. Look at the big one over here. Look at that one over there, peak A minus, and it fails after that trough B. And we're now looking at it 3640.59 up 0.36. The MACD is very weak, but the histogram for the last 4 sessions has started to improve. That's the 0% line. It's still negative, but it is improving. The stochastic is flat at 9%. It went down to 7% the other day, and it is rising, but you haven't got a commensurate move on the upside at all. And the on-balance volume is flat and stuck at the bottom. In technical terms, for me, this is where you can talk about something being oversold, and that's the on-balance volume, meaning that at any point you can get a pretty decent spike to the upside in the on-balance volume, but you haven't got it yet. That's the daily. The weekly chart has this H pattern that sometimes, especially if it's a large one, is able to form some kind of a base for a very strong bounce. You had that there, that peak B minus, pulling back, and that was in April, going into May, and then it pulls back. And has a pretty decent bounce and then fails again. Now there's a much larger one. And basically what this is saying is that within the weekly chart, the move up took longer than the move down, So there's a lot of downside momentum, and that this low below the 36.38 low that was made in June, we're trading right now at 36.40 after yesterday going to 36.06, was it 36? Where are we? There are 36.10.40 level. So we're 30 points above that. That's nothing in a market like this. But it's really important because you'll see that the MACD, although it's negative, is much higher than it was in the weekly chart back in June. And the stochastic, even though it looks terrible, is higher. The on-balance volume is very oversold, and it's gone to a lower low. So I'm trying to put this together just on a purely technical level. And then the monthly chart, we haven't closed. We have to wait for Friday at 4 o'clock. But no matter what happens, this is still a very ugly candle, and it's gone to a leg C. When George called on Friday and called again yesterday, George from Boston, he was talking about his work on with Chapman wave methodology, notations in the S&P, and then we have periodically gone to a C, and after that, a trough C, we've had a pretty decent rally, and then gone on to a D and even an E, to lower lows. So within that perspective, this is a very ugly candle, and the MACD in the monthly chart, it's going to take a lot to turn that back to positive again. It's going to take time and price. The stochastic at 26%, my suspicion is it still has to go at least under 20% before we get a really good tradable low. But I think on the shorter term, we're looking at so many aspects that are, and so many stocks that are just in this netherland. I mean, look, Nike comes out with earnings, is trading in the just about 180 back in November or so. It's trading at 84 right now. And so there are so many stocks that are starting to come out with the bad news that one would have expected if this was a recession, which this just, look at this chart. Don't tell me Nike hasn't been in a recession. Look at this chart of the SMHs. This is the monthly chart. Don't tell me that's not a recession. Don't tell me the weekly chart is not in a recession with the dreaded H pattern going below the 189.94 low of June. And here we are at 187 in leg D to the downside. I don't think 185.40, 185.56. So far, we're 16 cents above the most recent low. Let's see if we can hold that. But all of these charts are suggesting, based on the daily, weekly, monthly charts, that stocks, and I'm going to include once again Shopify, because to me this is just a great benchmark of a company that seemed to be doing everything correctly and making huge profits on paper. Shopify Inc. customized online store platform, 176.29. It was what, 20 for 100? What was a huge split. So that the price right here is the split price at 176.29 back in November of 2021, and trading at today's low of 26.38. Don't tell me that these stocks aren't ready for a pretty decent bounce. Sure they are, but we've been saying that for a little while, and they keep making lower lows. But when they do have that bounce, and they can hold that bounce for a week and a half, I think a lot more buying will be coming in. So I think we're very close in this first week of October. I'm going to be watching this closely to see if we don't get some sign that there will be a pretty decent bounce. I'll be back in a moment.
Vista Gold owns and operates the largest undeveloped gold project in Australia, the Mount Todd Gold Project. Vista Gold just completed their feasibility study, resulting in a 7 million ounce gold reserve. Vista Gold has all major permits approved and has retained CIBC capital market assistance in evaluating alternatives and in completing an accretive transaction. Vista Gold trades on the NYSE American and TSX under the ticker symbol VGZ. Vista Gold, executing a strategy to create shareholder value.
Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the market's open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hi, folks. So let's just do. I'm going to take questions as they come up. ENVX is Enovix Corporation, design, develop, manufacture silicone anode, lithium-ion batteries. So it's trading at 18.28, up 83 cents. Now, when stocks make this kind of rectangle formation and then go from the high of the rectangle, the horizontal line, in this case in the 26 area, and then come down and not just take out the low of the rectangle, but actually start to trade under it for a while. Basically what it says is there's some internal weakness there. This is the daily chart, and you can see it's almost the same thing in the weekly. The monthly chart just had this huge leg B to the upside. There was an IPO back in 2021, around in the 12-ish area, screams up to 39, plunges down to the most recent low of about 7 in the 7s, and now it's trading more than double it's at 18. I like this very much. I've got it on my list of battery stocks. And I like it in the sense that it's a story stock. Story stocks you've got to treat with a different kind of respect than you do with other stocks that are holding well. They look technically good. When there's a story stock, it could be a takeover. It could be part of a group that is not necessarily on fire, but I shouldn't use that word for battery thing. A group that's really finding a lot of buyers. In this particular instance, I like it. So the person who asked me usually have long-term buy and holds. So I like it very much. But you've got to expect that the 16.30 200-period exponential moving average will also fill the gap. There was that huge gap. One day it's trading, this is around the 11th of August, it has a high of 21.89, and then suddenly the next day the low is 20, sorry, the high is 16.33. The next day the low is 18.42, and it hasn't filled that gap. Even to this day, it hasn't filled that gap. I think that gap's going to be filled. It doesn't have to be completely because the 200-period moving average is just above that high, or whatever I think I said, August the 11th. but it's in play. Now, the pattern I'd look at right here, you remember we were looking at cups and arches? This is the U-shaped pattern, the cup pattern. I'm going to pull it down a little bit, and my suspicion is that at some point, perhaps in a week and a half, the 1964 area will be a target, even if it pulls back to 16. Let's just say in October, if it's able to hold the 16s and not close under 15.90, then it'll start a U-shaped turn. But I suspect that this time there's going to be resistance before it can make leg D. Although speed is of the essence each time it goes to B, and then 3 weeks later, after a sharp pullback to the 18s, it spikes up to the 26 level. So I like it. In your case, it's part of your portfolio. I'm just going to say I wouldn't mess around with it, but you got to expect that this is kind of stock. It could easily drop 15 or 20%, and within a week there's a story that makes it a very popular buy once more, and the next thing it's 20 to 30% even higher than it was. So all I can say is that this is in the group. So I don't want to mess around, because you can trade this in and out and in and out, but if you're holding it, my suspicion is that the high that was made back in November of 2021 at 39.48, I think that longer term it's in play. Is it 2022 that it does it, or is it 2023? Does it mess around in between? I think the answer is yes to everything. That it is in play. Anything can happen. It's in the group. I'm going to have a look at another one that came up as a question the other day. FREY. See, it's the same sort of thing. It's pulling back after a fabulous move. This is Freyr Battery SA. It's trading at 1462, up 91 cents, up 6.5%. That's pretty good. But look, it's just in this cluster formation. So in leg C in the weekly, it should go to a D. So no one asked me about it today. It was asked about the other day. I'm just saying that it is as a group. Perhaps maybe you have a little bit of each in the group. PTRA, I believe I also had put in the group. Yeah, this is not acting. Today it's acting, the last few days acting very well. But this is one that went to the 30s. Proterra Inc., design, manufacture, zero emission electric transit, vehicles, and EV technology. This one's had a much deeper correction, but it is making the lowercase h that went to a lowercase m. It's at $5.25. This is way more risky, but it's in the group. So I hope that's answering some of your question. Next question was, where did it go? Right here. FTNT. Yeah, Fortinet Inc. financials. I constantly over the last year, it's probably more than a year, I keep hearing about Fortinet Inc. In the financial area. And then it has this huge spurt. Well, it had a fantastic run from the 10 or 12 area all the way to the 70s, and then it pulled back to the most recent low in the 47s. It's trading at 49 right now. All I can say is this is one that I don't understand, because everything I hear about it seems to be positive, and then the thing just keeps making lower lows and lower highs. And at this particular point at 49.72, I think it's in the area of the XLF, which is the financial S&P Select Financial Spider Fund. I don't think it's in that fund, but look, it's the same pattern, just acting lousy. And I don't like sectors that act lousy in a time like this. They're not showing leadership to the upside. More likely they're showing leadership to the downside. So I'm just going to say FTNT is one that's always kind of sitting there on my list as if to say, oh yeah, Fortinet, it keeps, but it's got a horrible failure pattern. But at this time, with the higher right side than the left side after that Eiffel Tower, straight up to a peak A at about 50, 54, 55, and then plummets down to the 47s. Here is where it's more interesting. But I'd like to say, Steve, this is only interesting because even if it pops up, I'm afraid that the magnet of the 48s to 49 area will drag it down one more time. So I'm going to put this one on hold. If you're in it and let's say you just got in it and you're at about 48, because you've looked at the chart, you know that it has very wide moves. The low of 47.87 on the 27th I'd say 47.86. That's a 2-point. That's a reasonable stop if it's a starter position. I put that as my stop because if it takes that out, it's probably going to retest the low that was made at 47.20. Was that? What was that? 47.37 on the 1st of September. But what you want to do, if you actually are in this by Tuesday, without taking out today's low is 49.33, without taking out 49 as a support level, if it's able to even trade, it doesn't have to close. It just needs to touch 50.62 next week, just once, and it says, hey, that's going to help the MACD. That's going to help the 9-period move finally try to move positive. That'll be a good sign. But it's not a favorite stock. It's a name that I keep looking at and say, oh, disappointing one more time. I'll be back in a moment. Basil Chapman, Dow's down 83, S&P's up 0.56. I'll be right back.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Let me just correct myself. I said it was in the financial area, Fortinet, but actually I was corrected. It's in the cybersecurity. Well, my big complaint about the cybersecurity area has been all year. I've said it's such an important area for everyone, not just the layperson, but for businesses, for institutions, everything. So CyberArk software has one of the better charts, but it still doesn't look too great. It's up today, up 2.47 at 151. Still one of the better ones. But if you look at Hack, which is the, Hack is the, where did that go? Didn't I type that in here? Oh, I have typed it on the chart, sorry. HACK. This is the ETF for the cyber area. This is called the Prime Cybersecurity ETF. Look at this. It's gone to a leg C in the monthly chart. That means it's made a dreaded HC minus in the weekly chart. It's down at 44. It was up in the 68 area at the end of last year. just what's going on there. And Bug, I think, is the other one that is same thing. Look, Bug, A, B, C, D, peak D in the monthly chart, pulling back sharply. Crowd, CRWD, down at the bottom of the area. PANW, Palo Alto Networks, one of the better charts in the monthly chart, but it's really struggling at the bottom here. So I have a different take on this. As a risk, because it's cybersecurity risk, I'm just going to say, I think out of, let me just go back to Fortinet. I want to see the price again. That's at 166. It's at 40.89. Yes, okay, I'm having a different opinion about this right now. I think risk reward, because you know what your risk is. You could have even a 1 point stop, because if it gets taken out, it means it's just not ready, not even for prime time. It's just not ready for a bounce. But if you took a little nibble here, because I think we're really close. That's the reason why we went long again. One of the key ETFs, and I'm just saying, there is a chance now that there could be a decent rally. It's not one of the better stocks, but at the price of 49, that's one thing. But if you're looking at a price point, then Hack is trading at 44. So maybe the group, then you're not beholden to one particular stock. Maybe it's a little bit better to get the group, but they're not great chart patterns at all. But I'm saying right at this moment, as we're speaking, the risk reward is saying to me that if we close really strong today, there's a really good chance that the low that we've just seen is not taken out next week if there's a follow through Monday to the upside for the beginning of October, people saying, hey, I know October can be the worst month, but I'm prepared to start putting some money to work. That's the attitude that I have right now, because we're not making that V-shape. Remember, I said I don't think we're making a crash low. Maybe right at the end of this move, we do make some kind of a crash low, a V-shaped recovery. I think they're just a series of, I have to go. I'm jumping three guns at a time. So Bug, I'm just looking at price, that's all. If you're talking about price, if that's the issue, that's the reason why you chose the $40 stock rather than the better acting higher price ones. Yeah, 24. I think why pay 40 when if everything's going to move? Bug. This is the what is the title? This is the Global X Cybersecurity ETF. Bug at 24.55. I'd rather put $24 to work than 44 or 160. When all I'm looking for is a bounce, which could extend, because you got the Chapman wave inverse rectangle formation here, and says if Bug starts to trade from 24.55 by Tuesday of this week without closing under 23.95, without closing under 23.95, if Bug's able to get to 25.80 anytime in this coming week, there's a chance it could have one attempt, and maybe that's all it gets, but one attempt to go to the high of the 22nd of September of round number 25. So 24.55 to 25 is 50 cents. Well, what's the big deal? But the big deal is you've got your H pattern here in the weekly chart. This is the H pattern that has the potential to become a U-shaped pattern. And all I'm doing is looking at patterns, and I'm saying, if that's the case, then we're looking at something like this, and it gives it a decent chance to even get to the 26s, where the 14-period exponential moving average is in the weekly. And you know your risk. You can have it a very tight stop. All right. I hope that helps you. So I just wanted to clear up. It wasn't in the financial. It was in the security. That was Fortinet. I'm not sure that's the one I would go for. I think I'd rather go for generic just at the moment, just to be safer. Rather, that is the ETF. All right. With that said, question came in. So, did you buy a gold or silver stock? Because I was talking about that the other day, that I'm looking to see if the dollar pulls back, and it's still up, but it's only up 22 ticks. I think the dollar is making some kind of USD JPY, some kind of shorter term topping action. The only thing that tells me that is a possibility is that the US dollar Japanese yen currency pair is just stuck in this range. When I say stuck in this range, see this big rectangle that I drew from the outer bands? Look, you can do this, you can relate it to anything. Look at this. This is a 10-minute E-mini. Leg B going to the 200-period moving average of 38.69. I love this action right now. But this is the pattern we were looking at in the 1-minute chart. It's the same thing of the rectangle. Okay, let's have a look at it right here. Technical Friday, so we're being a little bit more technical. I'm talking about it right over here. You see the rectangle that was formed after the news, the economic data was a little bit too strong, and then there was a sudden plunge, and that gave us this rectangle formation. Well, the rectangle formation made an H. Remember, the rule of the rectangle is if it starts to make higher highs and higher lows, you can go peak A, peak B, even a peak C, and then a D, just under the previous, the flagpole high. That's right over here. Right on it or just above, and then be careful because it could pull back. And if it takes out halfway of the rectangle, be careful because it could test the rectangle low. If it takes out the rectangle low, it could go even low. So this is what we're looking at here. And let's go back to what we were looking at in the, I hope I've still got, yes, in the USD JPY. So you're in the rectangle formation. You can go a little bit higher, but if you start to take out halfway, that is it's at 144.55 right now. If it starts to trade, I'm going to say if it closes any day below 143, there's a real good chance it can go down to this candle low, not the actual wick low yet, but the candle low, 141.76, and that's going to help the EUR USD, which had the exact opposite thing right here. It has a rectangle at the bottom, and it's trying to get out of the rectangle here. Let's just do the small one first, and that's trading down 0.002 at 0.9791. And that's just saying to me, I think that I've been speaking about it all week. The reason why for subscribers, I know they must be getting a little bored or getting tired of getting, yesterday we had a little bit of a profit in the DIA, today we're back in it, and saying, what do you do? This is a phase where I know the downsides of being 400 and 600 points to the downside and the down. I say that I don't think there's going to be a crash. It's just lower lows and lower highs persistently, and then you get extremely oversold conditions. But the spike to the upside, if it's sustained for 3 sessions, could produce one heck of a rally. So let's look at the VIX index as we're going to the break. Look at the VIX index. Down at the low, down at 30. Look at this. This is the weekly chart that I've been showing you all week. It went above the Chapman Wave inside track, and now it's below. What a fascinating market. I'll be back.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Yes, I didn't answer the question. For subscribers today, we went to a silver stock in the $3 area. $3.36 was the entry point. It's already $3.48 right now. It's almost 3% gain, but that's just intraday. By the end of the day, it could be down. You never know with these things. But I liked it. I like the action. I like the fact that the gold stock at that particular price that I would have, what I would normally go for. I think silver just at the moment is acting a little bit better than gold, so maybe we'll see what happens. But I don't know about longer term. I'm just treating this more as a short-term trade. So, all right. So the question is, within the context of the VIX index, the day is young. Not only is it young, we're an hour and a quarter into the trading day, and you've seen markets move. What was it? 600 points up and 600 points. We've had 1,200 point sessions. So I think this is a much narrower one at this particular point, but it might start to expand later in the day. If we are down 120 after not 130, I'd say 145. It could actually accelerate down to the low of the day. If we're up over 140 at that particular point, there's a chance that we could actually have an acceleration into the close. That'll be a surprise. We saw that on Wednesday. But there were a lot of other things that were undercurrents of short covering. Even if there's a rally now, you have to first of all consider it to be short covering. Only on the third day, if there's a really strong move on the third day of a big rally, do I think that that's brand new buy. So there's plenty of room for brand new buy. So let's go back to this. The VIX index made 38.94, high the week of the 28th of January. That's everything. Fed, Russia, Ukraine, anything you can name it, it was there. Dropped very sharply into the 20 area, low 20s, and then spiked to 37.79 the week of the 26th or 25th of Feb, and then plummeted and then started a trend line up, Chapman Wave Inside Track propellant zone, but it kept being repelled at the Chapman Wave Inside Track repellent zone, 36.64, week of the 6th of May. It comes back down. This time it holds very nicely above this propellant zone and pops to the exact trend line at 35.05 on the 17th of June, week of the 17th of June. But when it pulls back after that long-legged doji, remember the rule of thumb with my rule of thumb, that long-legged doji within 2 sessions, if it closes underneath the low of the bar that made the long-legged wick of the doji, then that midpoint, the closing price, open and closing price, becomes extremely strong resistance. Exactly what happened, and then it plummeted and came all the way down to under 20. And then it spiked, and last week it had a high, stopping right at this green breakout line. This week it broke to the upside. It went to 34.88 peak D in the Chapman Wave daily chart, and now it's under it. The day is young. Anything can happen. But I can just tell you this, that if there is a close, I'll give you 2 levels. One, if there is a close underneath the green line under 32.19, that's okay. It's worked its magic. But if there is a sharp decline and it doesn't close above 30.91, instead it closes at the low of the day today, that to me is a really good sign to suggest that the selling pressure via the buying of the insurance of the VIX index, that's the volatility index, is starting to wane, and now we're getting some kind of a digestive phase in the volatility index, which allows a little bit of freedom for the market to rally. I'm not trying to be Pollyannish. I'm not thinking, oh, this is the fantastic move. I'm saying I'm preparing for a stronger move than a bounce, a one-day bounce or a two-day bounce at some point, and it could start this week. But price is the arbiter of the trend, not your emotion, nothing else. You need the price. So we need to see the Dow, which is at 29,228, up $1 by Tuesday in the 29,650, 29,700 area. That's a big ask, but I'm just saying that's what I would be looking for if there's going to be a turn. So I see in the den, what was it here? Let's see. Anyone here from Norm Winsky in Naples? Ray asks in the Tiger TV. I was thinking over the last couple of days, especially when I saw Naples hit so badly, I thought, oh, isn't that where Norm is from? I believe he is. I just hope Norm is doing well. He's a great asset here at TFNN. Larry Pesavento has some absolutely wonderful guests, and Nowinski is one of them. He's been a long time, and he's made some absolutely fabulous calls. To the minute, Winsky, as Larry said. Let's hope that he's doing okay. That's all we can hope. Okay, so a couple of questions have come in, and I'm just going to, let me see if I'm able to grab it here. Yes, Basil, can you just do a Bitcoin? Bitcoin, BTC. So John wants to, that's all he wants to, okay. So Bitcoin is trading up 560 at 19.930. I think Bitcoin is trying to form some kind of a base. It's made a lower low. Last week it made a lower low than the low that was made back in June, which was, this is the Bitcoin futures. This is at 18,450. The low on the 23rd, the week of the 23rd last week was 18,040. I think Bitcoin is starting to show some resilience. That Eiffel Tower straight up, straight down pattern in the monthly chart after the peak D in the Chapman wave. Remember, the fourth highest peak D is where you can say other things can happen. It can go high, but that's where you got to be careful. What a pullback from the 70,000 level down to the 18s. And now we're looking at some kind of stability. Now, what I would like to do, I like to do this, so I'm going to do it again. You see the arch formation right here? That's a peak C minus. And remember, if it goes above a peak B to a C or even a D or higher in the arch formation, that says that the left side low might hold. It can go below it, but it might hold, and that's the case right here. So that's a C minus. Let me just do that in the weekly chart. We had a fantastic series of gains. I mean, 300-400% in the GBTC, the Bitcoin fund. I haven't been in that for a long time, and I'm waiting. I'm just waiting. If we do get into it again, I was always a little bit nervous. Tom O'Brien did a study. He said he was talking about the value, the true value. There are a lot of discrepancies there, but I just look at it as a chart, and it's the best thing you've got. I don't know if it does close down or anything like that. I think you get at least a little bit of a warning, I would hope. But all I'm saying is that within the context, this is a peak B in the chart. Remember 14.8? You remember that big spike up and then it came down? Well, this almost has the same pattern. It's saying that it's attempting to form a cup formation or even a rectangle. I'll go to the lower level. I mean, I'll even go and exclude that big spike to the upside. It's trying to form some kind of a base. So I would treat it as a trade. I have no problem with that. I would do it via the GBTC. I don't think I'd use any of the others, or I still don't feel comfortable. But I'm not doing anything right now. I'm not afraid to do that at some point, but I'm not doing it right at this moment. I'll be watching it. I'll do some work over the weekend on these. So the Dow is up 31, S&P's up 15. Action. I want you to see the day is young. All I can say is it happened.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
A question came in just a moment ago about Cassava. This is Cassava Sciences, a biotech company. It's got this pattern that we talk about, this flagpole, and then makes the rectangle pattern with higher highs and higher lows. It's gone to a peak B, and the rule of thumb is it can go all the way to a C and even a D, just under, right on or just above the previous high, and then be careful because if it breaks halfway through the rectangle on the way down after that, it can go right to the bottom of the rectangle. And what I'd said is at 43.53, if Cassava, I have to read it, if Cassava can close by Tuesday above 46.12, there is a very good chance it pushes even higher. Must hold 42.09 near term lower, and it stalls. So it's just a real clear pattern in terms of this formation right here. Then the question came in. Where did it go? Where did I put it? Yes. Okay. So the question is, on the in the near term, the even is it telling us that the market can go higher today? All I can say is that there was a rectangle formation. And then there was a huge bowl, not a cup, but a bowl, meaning it's stretched out. And I drew it, and then I took it away. I said, this is impossible. But I just put it back. And that says if I take the midpoint in the 1 minute chart of 9 9:39 a.m. Eastern time this morning of 1626.75, I can get a left side, right side price time match to 1049, which is already gone at that level that was made, that high that was made. Oh, I forgot what it is. I forgot to type it in. At 8:27 this morning at 3677.00. Well, funnily enough, it went all the way to just under it. It went to 3671.50. So it's acted quite nicely up 9, and it's in a leg B, a peak B, in a 10-minute chart. I would say there's a good chance that we can have another pop on 3675. Is probably what I would look for if it can close above that by 2 o'clock. That's going to be a good sign for the close today. Have a wonderful rest of the day.